Sport as a vector of peace and national reconciliation, experience of Burundi from 1994 to today. Your Excellency, Mr. the Ambassador of the Republic of Burundi in Germany, Your Excellencies from ICD, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I feel delighted to take the floor and thank you to have organized this meeting that I hope will be a happy start of a fruitful and long-lasting partnership between the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Culture of Burundi and ICD. Burundi is one of the most populous African countries from the Great Lakes region, with nearly 9 million people, established on an area of only 27,834 kilometers squares. It is also counted in the first densest countries of the world, with around 323 inhabitants per kilometer square. The country, just like Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo, has experienced cyclical wars since gaining national independence of the 1st July 1962. The last socio-political crisis that erupted in October 1993 in the entire country and lasted nearly 10 years has created a lot of damage. The war was between the government army and the rebel movement. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is well known that sport and recreation can bring different people and culture together to work as a team with common goals in an environment that helps people to bond and build mutual respect. The vision of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and its partners is to perpetuate the social, humanitarian and pacifist dimension of sport, especially during the most turbulent periods, such as the election approaching. There is still a lot to do because we still have internal displaced persons who have not been returned to their former homes since 1993, as well as we find new returnees who are not recovering abandoned lands, and their children born in exile need welfare, cultural and sporting action. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share with you what we are doing in Burundi through sport as a tool of social unity building. First, sport pacification from 1994 to 1996. Undergoing profound crisis in which the city of Bujumbura was balkanized into ethnical labeled exclusively Hutu land, especially in the north of the capital, and exclusively Tutsi land, especially in the southern district of Bujumbura. The first attempts towards each other reconciliation have emerged thanks to the sporting events, timidly at first, with the support of the government through the ministry in charge of sport, the National Olympic Committee, former football players, and the observer mission of the United Nations in Burundi. The first sporting visits by some Tutsis to Hutu neighborhoods north showed how the sport is magic and a so efficient tool to establish a friendly and sincere cooperation for understanding between people. That first and successful experience was extended to all quarters of Bujumbura, which resulted in that competitive sport has been reborn and the public found his pleasure to fill again the stadiums. Second experience was the football tournaments for pacification in 2004. The stakeholders were the government army, the local government, and former rebellion named CNDD-FDD. As the groups who took exile set up an army against the government in place, Burundi suffered sporadic attacks here and there through the hills of the country. The major trafficking routes, public and private institutions, and that from 1995 to 2003. So the integration of combatant units of the CNDD-FDD following the Arusha negotiations for peace became crucial for country stabilization. How this special and circumstantial tournament was organized. At the play of each of the four groups from four provinces participated with three separate teams. One from the government army, second from the local authorities, and third from the CNDD-FDD. But since the quarterfinal up to the finals, the teams had to make a special change with what seemed to be a crazy mixing. Actually, among the 18 players of each team still present in this stage of the championships, 6 should come from the CNDD-FDD, 6 from the army, and 6 from local authorities, and it worked. So the integration was finally drawn from sporting events. We read in these final stages the great fraternity through sport with its inherent benefits. The National Olympic Committee of Burundi had received financial support of the Swiss Embassy in Burundi to conduct that competition. The third example is what we call the Inter-League Championships. Since 2006, after the establishment of institutions from the general post-conflict election in August 2005, the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture has established an interleague that gathered teams from all ministries and private companies. This year, 2013, our ministry is proud to organize the 7th edition through basketball, volleyball, and football competitions. Please notice that the Friday afternoon is officially dedicated to sport in all public services of the Republic of Burundi. So this very friendly championship becomes more and more dynamic every year, and all witnesses mention that among other benefits, we can mention better service delivery. The distance between high-rank workers and lower category workers have diminished. Some workers have found work because of their sport talents, and there is a general good social attitude. Fourth, we organized what we call a large-scale sporting popularization. The Ministry of Youth, Sport and Culture has launched 2 years ago a project entitled A Hill, a Sport Club, and a Cultural Club. This is a very ambitious project that will require a lot of resources and sponsors for its implementation, but the fruit is already noticeable in the communes we started with in the province of Gitega. Actually, local authorities and people are given an opportunity to engage and discuss social issues on the sidelines of sporting events, like security and peace, environment, community development, entrepreneurship, health, prevention of diseases like AIDS, malaria, prevention of unwanted pregnancies, birth control, etc. Reconciliation, respect for human rights, respect of the property of others, settlement of dispute amicably. I'd like to mention that there are many disputes about land in Burundi. So step by step, ethnic barriers are broken and youth is framed. I would like to notice with you that at the competitive level, all the hills will meet on two aspects, sports and culture, with as final goal to determine the best hill in the town, the best hill by province, and the best hill at the national level. In short, this project is very ambitious. If you want to play without interruption, over 3,000 hills all over the country. 5, I'd like to talk about the orientation of the access of this project. We would like to strengthen the project, a hill, a sport club, and a cultural club, to extend it to all the country. We'd like also to create sport clubs in the camps of displaced persons and returnees. Organize sport events such as Peace Marathon. Organize special and circumstantial sports events such as sport tournaments for peaceful elections. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we believe that sport can bring different people and cultures together. That sport is essential for tolerance. That sport is a social cement. That sport is essential for minority integration. That sport teaches people to live together and peacefully. That sport is good for a better health and development. And finally, sport teaches people to move from negativity to positivity. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you so much.
Well, Your Excellency, I would like to also, first of all, take my moments to express my gratitude to you. You coming here today really means a lot. As I think you know, the ambassador, I'm sure, has informed you, we have a very close relationship with Burundi. We had the honor of having your president here in December. We had the honor of having your foreign minister here on a number of occasions, but most specifically for a special session that we did actually last summer, looking at actually cultural diplomacy in Burundi, and actually developing strategies with actually 15 ambassadors from Burundi from around the world on actually specific action that can be taken. So we're very much looking forward to continuing the partnership with Burundi, hopefully today in partnership with you as well. So really today, in many ways, is a historic day that you are actually here in your presence alone. In addition, I would like to thank you for an excellent lecture, which I'm sure has inspired many of us to give comments as well as questions. We already addressed the issue of sports earlier today as really being one of the most powerful forms of cultural diplomacy to bring people together. It doesn't matter if we have the same passport, the same religion, the same culture, but actually that ability to come together through joint activities such as sports can be very, very powerful. So I think there, just as one of the very important points that you made, I just wanted to underline how important that can be. So I have many questions myself, but I'm going to restrain them for a moment because I'd like to first give the chance for all of you to please pose your questions as well as make your comments. And again, always like you to be as brief as possible, just to allow as many voices to be heard as we can. And if you could briefly introduce yourself, just so that the minister knows also where you're from, that would be great. And if you could stand, because we're video recording everything, so those are my requests. So I'll give the microphone right away to Gregory Stanton in the front.
I just wanted to make a brief comment, actually, Minister. This use of sports is exactly something that we, in our analysis of the genocidal process, believe is a very powerful tool to overcome differences between groups. And essentially, sports is a human language. And, you know, there are others, too. Music is a human language by which you can overcome these differences, too. There are so many other kinds of languages that we all, as human beings, speak. So I really think this is brilliant that you have used it this way in Burundi.
My name is Tatar from the Budapest Center for International Prevention of Genocide and Mass Atrocities. In Europe, we face several times and in increasing extent that during the football matches, the fans used to offend people because of they may belong to some other the skin of their the color of their skin is maybe different.
Mm.
And in these cases, in Europe, we try to fight against these symptoms.
Mm.
My question is, whether similar symptoms do exist in your country, and what is your way of preventing the deterioration of the situation in this respect?
Mm.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for this fine presentation. My question is, what is the role of university and sport? We know that the best place for sports are and mostly more successful at the university, especially in the United States and some in Europe too.
Mm.
So what's the position of the two, sport and universities?
Okay, I think we should give you a chance to respond. We don't want to take too many at once. Please.
Thank you, sir. I think the first gentleman to speak was giving contributions. It was not a question. He just said sport is a human language as music and other things. I do agree with you, so thank you so much. Yeah, sport is one of human language, and I agree 100% with you. The second was about age. Did I understand you? About age. Yeah. What I believe is that sport is good for any age. No, so we're trying to involve all people in sport practicing. We are convinced if parents like sport and practice sport themselves, they'll help. They'll be easy with their children to go and practice sport, and there won't be an obstacle to sport practicing. So, as a sport professional, I believe sport is one way of education. As we'd like our people to go to school to be well educated in sciences and whatever, we think sport should be present in every human being life every day. So my belief is that everyone should practice sport daily. It's a way of life, and we know we learn many things through sport. I talked of how sport has this capacity to bring different people and different cultures together. How sport teach you to be tolerant, to be patient, to respect rules, to respect the other, to work as a team, etc. So I think we're addressing all people of Burundi, not only the young people, but all people. And I think our observers who visit our country believe that Burundi people are people who like sport. So probably this is why it was easy for our country to bring again all people together through sport. Third question is about what we are doing for facilities in Burundi, because it is a big problem in developing countries. Yeah, we do not have many financial means in Burundi, but our people are very, they love sport so much, they practice so much. When you come to Bujumbura, you can see every afternoon, every weekend, many thousand of people running and stretching in the streets, etc. So that means you don't need necessarily big stadiums, big gymnasiums to practice sport. People should think about how to practice sport, not necessarily using these very costly facilities. This is what we teach to our students, to our future physical and sport teachers, to manage how to teach sports, even when you don't have these very costly facilities. So I believe you can improve, you can practice sport without many very big facilities. You know, I'd like to tell you, I know Sudan has very good athletes, and Burundi has very good athletes. Last week, one of our best athletes, a young lady, aged 19 years, performed the best world performance over the distance of 800 meters. She doesn't need facilities, sophisticated facilities to train. She doesn't need a gymnasium to train. So I believe this could be a good example of our developing countries to follow. We do not really need these facilities. We can imagine and practice some sports without these facilities. Fourth question was about match fixing and racism. And the question is, do we observe some symptoms of such racism in our country? I'd like to say that Burundi is a very wonderful country, and I never watched such kind of things in football matches and basketball matches. No, Burundi is very well known as a country where foreigners feel very comfortable. Africans, black people, white people, everyone is very welcome in Burundi, and if you come there, you will feel it. There is no racism in our country. Last question was about the role of a university and sport. Yeah, we know in the USA, in Europe, the universities are places where sport is very well practiced. Yeah, I know that the best basketball players in the USA are university students. And the best athletes are students. Yeah, actually, this is a fact. And I would like to say in Burundi, we have the opportunity, not opportunity. We are happy that we have a department of physical education and sport within the University of Bujumbura. And maybe, as you know, our President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Peter Nkurunziza, was himself a student in this department. So sport is very effective. It's something that is a reality in the University of Bujumbura. We have teams of the university in football, in basket, volleyball, both in women team and men teams. So we think this is a good opportunity to improve, to tackle, to improve unity among students of our university, because as you know, some years ago we faced ethnic problems within the student community in the University of Bujumbura. And fortunately, I think sport helped us to overcome these problems. Thank you so much.
Before we say thank you at last, may I just ask one question myself, just because there's an issue that's something I've been struggling with for a while. When I first started the Institute for Culture Diplomacy back in 1999, I thought, okay, a great opportunity for culture diplomacy is when you have...
Please speak slowly.
I'm sorry. When I first founded the Institute, I thought a great opportunity for culture diplomacy is when you have two countries that want to work together, two countries at peace. And there you can see many examples of good culture diplomacy. You gave some powerful examples also in your lecture regarding what happens after a conflict in terms of also reconciliation. My question is, what about during a conflict? It's been a big dilemma for me. Is there a space for cultural diplomacy when a conflict is actually taking place? Whether it's something like what happened in Burundi or Rwanda or South Africa or Israel, Palestine. In your opinion, do you think that there's something that sports can do during a conflict, maybe to offer reconciliation or even just joint activity? There's a group called Street Football World that's famous for bringing Israelis together with Arabs. And actually their thesis is the more joint activity there is, the closer one can be to peace. And actually there's a benefit for that kind of joint activity, indirectly bringing them together. It's not about religion or politics, etc., just that common activity. So I'd be very curious to hear your opinion during a conflict. And obviously there are many different kinds of conflicts. I don't expect a general answer that applies everywhere. But do you see a potential for sports also in those conflict situations to actually contribute to bringing peace?
Thank you so much. I think sport could be one of the ways that could be explored and used for to improve the situation in post-conflict societies. But it is not the only one that could be used. So if I go from the experience of Burundi, I deeply think, sport has this magic power, because maybe as a foreigner, I couldn't imagine what was the situation in Bujumbura at the time of this conflict that occurred after the 93 murder of the President of the Republic. But it was not easy for a Hutu to go through the southern quarters of Bujumbura at the time. It was not easy at all for a Tutsi to go through the northern quarters of the city. But thanks to sport, we could break these barriers, and people could talk again, people could play again, people could gather again, and finally, I think Burundi is very, very special, because no one is afraid of talking about ethnic in Burundi. This is not, which is important for us is this guy my friend, because we can do something together. But no one now is interested in knowing what the ethnic of the other. So I really believe sport is a very efficient tool that could be used in Burundi and in other societies. Yeah, even in Europe, I think black people, foreign people are now being slowly, silently, as would say the poet, they are being integrated. And I think this is the magic of sport. Sport is magic, yeah, I believe it very deeply. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. And I think we've inspired one final question from the Ambassador, His Excellency Bizimana. Please, the microphone is yours.
Thank you very much for, I'd like to take this floor to thank the Minister for his brilliant presentation. And I would not ask questions, I would just contribute and insist on something which is picked from sports area and that is now being used in politics. That's fairness, fair play. We used to hear about fair play in sports, but now we are using it in politics, meaning that sports also contributed a lot in other sectors of life. So I think this can also fit in the general theme of the symposium on cultural diplomacy and human rights, because in sports we learn to respect the opponent. When you win, the loser is not to blame, and he can accept it that way. So this can teach us too in other areas, the respect of the other. And this is very important for us. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your comments. And maybe once again, we could take this opportunity all together to express our sincere gratitude for His Excellency Minister Rukenkanya for an excellent lecture. Thank you.
Thank you.